Tony Rizzo, longtime ESPN Cleveland voice on the radio. His thoughts about where the Browns are and where he thinks they should head.
If Jimmy Haslam said to me, Tony, how would you advise me moving forward? I would tell him we're gonna break things up. And we're gonna go in a new direction. It's time to give it a try. The way the Haslams have their organization set up, I think, is antiquated. They feel like it's state of the art, and really, it's not. It's not at all. Here's what you need: you need a strong coach, and you need a football guy who listens to analytics. That would be my plan. Not 15 analytics people and a guy that's only analytical driven and a coach who can't make any decisions for himself.
With that, let's welcome in Tom Withers from the Associated Press. So Tom, again, 3-win seasons, you look at everything. And just as a point of reference, both Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry report to Jimmy Haslam. The analytics reference is to Paul DePodesta. I think you have to look at everything, just where you're at from training camp to what you do in the preseason. You've had injuries, penalties, and a number of things that have been, and it's not just a one-year thing with the injuries and the penalties. That's been multiple years.
Yeah, I don't know. Hi, Dave. Merry Christmas and happy holidays, by the way. Yeah, there's so much to unpack in a season like this where you're right. I mean, there's so many variables at play here, bad quarterback play, sticking with a quarterback that you're married to for at least another couple of years, unless you can figure out a clever way to file the divorce papers. You've got the injuries, as you mentioned, valuable players, not only your starting quarterback, but arguably the guy who was playing better than anybody on defense in Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, and missing him for a length of period. Obviously, the Nick Chubb injury on Sunday, on and on, an offensive line that was banged up at the beginning of the year. So there's a lot to consider when you're talking about making change. Now, I would caution people to remember, too, that this was a team that won 11 games last year despite starting 4 quarterbacks. You have a coach who has won Coach of the Year 2 times in 5 years. This is an organization that has had 18 double-digit loss seasons since 1999. So it's not like we haven't seen 3-11 before. So, this idea that this team was on the cusp of a Super Bowl and stuff, I think is getting a little too far ahead of ourselves here. And I think maybe the expectations didn't match what this roster actually looks like coming into the season. That's probably everybody's fault for maybe an over-evaluation. But in terms of what they're going to do once this season unravels, it seems to be that they're putting out some information that they want to stand pat in terms of the coach and in terms of the general manager, and I would support that. I think these guys, you don't want to give any mulligans, and I know nobody wants to talk about asking Cleveland fans for more patience because patience has run out. Patience ran out a long time ago. But this is also an organization that brought back a coach who went 0-16 and 1-15. So I don't think there's this quick trigger approach that we've seen in the past. I think the Haslams will, look at everything, obviously. I think in terms of Kevin Stefanski, what has got to be said in a positive light is that he seems to still have the attention of the guys, the men in the locker room. The team is still playing hard. They're just not playing well. We're on the verge of probably another quarterback change here as we head into the final 3 weeks of the season. So in terms of, tearing the whole thing down and rebuilding again, I don't think that's the way they go. And I don't think that's the approach that they should take.